Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Anyhow Anyway by Summer England. I'm your podcast host, Summer England, and we talk about all things bookish, cozy, smutty, chaotic, and today, divorce. Dun dun dun. I'm here with my favorite MILF. Man, I Love Frogs is what it's going to be today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
The panic of not being able to say my name. Like, how do I introduce myself? I am a human. I enjoy frogs, and I am divorced. I have a dog, and I've known you for a number of years and in a variety of contexts.
Yes.
So this is a fun new one. This is such an interesting, esoteric question of introducing myself without my name.
I know. Tough.
Thought this was going to be easy.
Sorry. Yeah, not me texting somebody the equivalent of, fuck you. They said something really nice. I say, time doesn't heal all wounds, huh?
Yeah.
And then we go on. Yes, we've known each other for a number of years, for a very long time. We had a very slow burn friendship. So not only are we lore dropping divorce, I guess we're lore dropping ourselves.
Yeah.
We had a slow burn friendship, I would say.
Yep.
We kept constantly missing each other, but we went to the same program. We co-founded a writers group together.
We did.
Which is flourishing and sweet and happy. And we've also traveled the world together.
We have.
And much like that experience, the way we didn't talk about it before we did it, we have not been on a trip before. Never stayed overnight anywhere together. Haven't had longer hangouts than maybe like 3 or 4 hours because we're both working adults.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, who would I want to go across the world? The MILF.
The MILF.
I would like to go with the MILF.
Yeah.
And never once did I ever think it was going to go poorly. I just assumed it was going to go great.
I remember, so we'd known each other for a few years, and this was during the Pando, but you came across my TikTok, and I was like, holy shit. We curse on this podcast, right?
Yes.
Great. Holy shit. I know her. And I was like, she's funny. I watched a bunch of her stuff. And then I texted you, and I was like, hey, my TikTok algorithm thinks we should be friends, so we should hang out.
Yeah.
And the algorithm was right.
Yes.
It took us 2 or 3 more years?
Yes,
after
because
that?
we got divorced during
we
that
got
time.
divorced.
We met each other, and then life, I mean, I'm a huge hermit when I'm in tragedy. And it was also a weird point, at least for me, to meet anybody new with a burgeoning friendship because I didn't want to put that burden of, I'm going through a horrible time. And this is a new flourishing relationship. So let me share with you that I want to not wake up in the morning.
Oh, so this is a great segue. I have these great friends that I met through Bumble BFF. One of them's in our writers group.
Yes.
And I had just met them. We just started hanging out with them like couple on couple. That's a weird way to say it.
Couple on couple. This podcast with the MILF.
Anyway, we went on this beautiful camping trip and had a great time. And when my ex and I got home from that camping trip, we called it on the relationship. And then my new friends texted me and asked when we were hanging out again.
Oh, God.
And if we could do the movie night we talked about on the camping trip. And I was like, so X isn't going to be interested probably, but I'd still love to hang out. And then I didn't hear from them for a while.
Oh, yeah. Because what do you do?
What do you do?
It's tough.
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you do? Because they've not known you. So
No.
they can't really comfort you.
Right.
And it's just a tough time to be all of a sudden. It kind of feels like I met you. Can you be a bridesmaid at my wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know we were like that.
Well, and it's a really strange form of trauma dumping because you have to mention it. You can't I love trauma dumping with my friends, but I'm not going to do it with strangers. But when people are like, "Oh, is your spouse coming to our corporate dinner?" It's like, well, actually, no. They won't be coming to the staff holiday party because they got COVID and died. I don't know.
I don't know. They won't be at my birthday party either. And I guess that grave plot that we bought is going to go to somebody else. You know what I mean? So, yeah, today we're talking about divorce and also dating after divorce, all of that fun jazz. We both got divorced in our 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Divorced under 30.
Divorced under 30. Both had similar backgrounds where we grew up in a high control or high control adjacent religion and had a first spouse and then divorced. And it's just a lot of stories. But one thing I'm so curious about is what was the moment that you knew, okay, this is over, but it's small, not necessarily a big emotional thing. So for example, mine was we had our toothbrushes next to each other, right? Mm-hmm. And we had these end of relationship talks for months and months and months, and things had been deteriorating for so long. And I remember looking down at these two toothbrushes and thinking, I'm about to take mine out. He will never have my toothbrush by his again. And it was just the weirdest moment. And I remember it was like 3 a.m. I had just put my kiddo had like gotten up and was sick in the night. And it was just this wash of realization of, oh my gosh, this like tiny thing that I'm about to do it's over. It's done. We're unraveling a life together.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Okay, so it's that camping trip.
Okay.
So I guess so I'm trying to think of names for these people that aren't their real names to protect their privacy. So it was Chad and Charlene.
Okay.
And they were just beautiful as a couple. Charlene was pregnant with their beautiful little child. And like watching them together. And like Charlene would be sitting down and Chad would like get up to go to the car because we were just car camping. We're not that hardcore. To get up to go to the car to like get a drink or to get a blanket. And he'd be like, do you need anything? And she'd be like, no, I'm good. Thank you, babe. And like I remember seeing that and just remember and being like, well, fuck.
Oh.
That's right. That's what a loving relationship looks like. And so then we got home with them from the camping trip. And I called my sister. My ex laid down. I went outside. I called my sister. And I was like, I think my marriage is over. And she was like, what? Why? What happened? I was like, nothing. Like it wasn't a fight. Wasn't anything new that was said. Because again, we'd been having these conversations for months. And then I went back inside. I went up to my room because we already were in separate rooms by this point. And then my ex came upstairs. And I was like, what do you think the problem with our relationship is? And they finally were like, I don't love you like I used to. Oh. And I was like, cool, great. And then I called my sister and I was like, I was right. I called it.
So you're like, really quick before I have this breakdown, I do get to say I told you so to the universe.
Yeah.
Because I sensed it and I raised it and I just said, okay, here we go. Yeah. Honestly, one of the worst parts of divorce is apart from, because I went into the custody battle. I did the whole thing. It was a mess. But it is those moments where I realized I've never felt lonelier in my life than sitting next to someone on the couch who couldn't give a rat's ass about me.
Well, and that's the crazy thing about divorce. And I'll speak to my experience. The crazy thing about my divorce is that like the worst part was like before that moment when they said I don't love you.
Yeah.
Like after that, like sure, I cried a lot more. I don't know, maybe not. But like it got better from that point on.
Because now you can move on.
And like everything else before that was so horrible and so isolating. And also I like couldn't share it with anyone. And so, I mean, I'm in the habit of whenever people tell me they're divorced, just I say, oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Because it's a long road to get there.
It's a long road to get there. And it means you're on the up and up, even if it still sucks.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, what you said, I think that's another thing too of people were shocked when I told them that I was getting divorced because for, these conversations and these dynamics that were really unhealthy and not good and sad and horrible had been happening behind closed doors. I'm not going to tell people that because I don't need a bunch of opinions about my relationship because you're going to come in any relationship that you have. You're going to have these moments where on paper to outside eyes who aren't in the relationship and who might not have been in a long-term or super long-term relationship yet, they're going to be like, you guys should just end it. Well, it's a marriage.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's opinion on opinion doesn't help
Yeah.
the dynamic. And
and it creates like, I experienced a lot of like shame, right? And like knowing that it wasn't good, but not wanting to like share that because it's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
To be, and especially, I mean, you and I both are successful in our own ways. It's always been that way. We're high achievers, very ambitious. And so to talk about some treatment, I'll speak for myself of like, yeah, I sort of let this person say this to me, and the other people in my life being like, you're better than that. That doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
I know. I'm a strong, independent woman, but at the end of the day,
I'm just a little guy.
I'm a little guy. I'm secretly just sensitive, heart on my sleeve, lover girl that just got burned.
Well, and I also think like, I mean, there are villain relationships, and like I certainly don't feel like my relationship has a villain. I know other people might look at it differently, but like, we fell out of love, and that's like horrible, but that's the worst thing that happened.
Yeah, and I think the only way for me to be able to move on from that situation was to view it not through the villain lens, because again, outside eyes, especially if they're on your, you know what I mean, their sides and all that jazz, and people want to support you. And then some of the shit was bad. Yeah. Was canonically not good. I also acknowledge that in those moments, the two people, sometimes the worst parts of them are being brought out because people are scared. There's unknown. There's new feelings. There's not feelings that you thought you were going to have. And so even on my end of things in the divorce, could I have handled things better? Yeah. Am I probably a villain? Because I was the one that left at the end of the day. I was the one who pulled the plug, which was a whole other level of shame because I was also a mom, and I was the mom who was leaving. And even though I wasn't like, bye kid at all. It was immediately not that way. Yeah. But it wasn't that same dynamic, and it is not, look, divorce isn't fun. No. Divorce is not fun.
But being divorced kind of slaps. I
mean, because now you get to say, yeah, I'm divorced.
Oh,
and people are mystery. Like, ooh, yeah, intrigue.
Like, yeah, I know I have the face of a 26-year-old and I'm only 32, but I'm divorced.
I know.
I have history.
We've seen it. We've been to the other side. We hit rock bottom. We crawled back out, which you would think makes dating easier. But in my experience, it makes it worse.
Okay, so here's the question for you.
Okay.
Because I don't think I don't know this.
Oh, okay.
But based on our shared similar history.
Yes.
How much did you date before you were with your ex?
Oh, before I was with my ex, I had a long-term boyfriend in high school. Okay. Horrible person. Sure. Horrible.
Most high schoolers are.
Yeah, just despicable person. And then I dated two other people ever so slightly, but they weren't serious.
Right.
And then he was my next long term.
Okay.
What about you?
So I had like no real serious relationships before my ex.
Okay.
I dated this guy, Chad too.
We love Chad. I love that that's your go-to.
Yeah, we're just gonna number all the men in my stories, and it doesn't reflect on my. Anyways, so I dated this guy Chad too, but we like met on a mission trip. He was several years older than me, and we were like literally long distance. And then the second we were in proximity, I broke up with him. So like not a real relationship. And then like I flirted with some guys in college, but for some reason, anytime an actual relationship started to happen, I panicked. Sure. And maybe it's because I'm gay. Maybe. That's what they say. Yeah. And so when I broke up with my ex, I was 28.
Okay.
And had never dated.
Okay.
And now I was divorced.
Oh.
Queer. and trying to think about maybe dating.
Right. And what that even means.
Yeah.
Now, how long were you and your ex together?
7 years.
7 years. I think ours was close to that. Let's see. Got together in, yeah, it was 6.
Mm-hmm.
It was 6. But we started having end of marriage conversations like 4.5 years in.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a long time, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of eras of your life
Mm-hmm.
happens
Mm-hmm.
in 7 years. So we both come out of these long-term relationships, right? And one thing that was pitched to me when I was getting divorced was, just wait, dating's so fun after you're divorced. Right. People told me that. They were like, you can fuck around and find out all this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, because again, I grew up high control. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do a lot of exploration. I never did the casual dating thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know myself in a relationship. I also was undiagnosed autism.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I like in a relationship where I'm not masking and I'm not performing what you need me to do and I'm actually connecting with you?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Thinking to myself, this is going to be fun. Immediate screech. My car is going off the side of a cliff. Not fun.
Yeah.
It is so complicated.
It's so complicated.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What was the most complicated? Like the war inside of you as you ventured into dating after divorce.
So for me, in like coming out of my marriage and doing all of that, like healing work, like a lot of it was giving myself permission to like do what I want, to lean into my desires and my wants, and to not live my life in service of someone else. Mm-hmm. This is a little anecdote, but I think it like captures kind of where I was at the end of that marriage. So one time I was brushing my teeth. No, I have toothbrush story.
We've got toothbrush. Yeah.
And like the toothpaste was empty from my point of view. I was like, this is annoying. So I dropped it in the trash, got a fresh tube out from under the sink. The next night or the next morning, I go to brush my teeth and my ex has taken the tube of toothpaste that I threw away and put it back in the cabinet.
Ew.
And I don't even know if I actually asked them about it or anything. But like, you know, obviously they disagreed with my decision that the toothpaste was empty enough to throw away. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, I never threw away another tube of toothpaste.
Okay.
In the relationship.
Okay.
So that is like, and like, again, like they didn't say anything, they didn't berate me or anything, but like that was just like how internalized my acquiescence to the other person in my life was like, great, they disagreed with this thing I did, I will never do it ever again.
Okay.
Even if it is as small as throwing away a practically empty tube of toothpaste.
Mm-hmm. You just lodged it in your brain.
I just lodged it.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, I will always wrestle the toothpaste until they decide it's empty. Anyways, so coming out of that, you know, and like giving myself permission to like leave the dishes till the morning or to throw away the tube of toothpaste, like that is where so much growth and joy was found. And the battle was anytime I thought about dating, the panic of feeling that desire to like yield coming back up.
Yeah.
And being like horrified and panicky of going back into those patterns. So that was like my big internal battle. Mm-hmm. And then like I love being alone. I fell in love with living alone.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if there's anyone else I like enough to want to live with more than myself.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's a big thing for me as well, of coming out of a marriage where I, you know, there would be conversations about, because I was one who did everything. Mm-hmm. It was that classic Christian marriage where I did everything. Yeah. And that's just what I did. That's what I grew up doing. And so when I came out of it and without all of those expectations and finally was on my own, I cultivated this peace in my house, and no one could touch it, to the to a fault.
Yeah.
I went way too hard.
Yes.
And I remember my therapist, because I got to a point when I was probably 2 years out of the divorce, but we were still in major custody things. I was really struggling being around people because I didn't know how to voice my needs. I didn't know how to tell people what I was going through. I was still learning how to occupy connections and spaces and have them be authentic while also allowing myself to feel panic or anxiety or whatever, because I usually am the person who is not like that in a room. I'm usually the like kind of the good mood and the jokes and stuff.
It's the bubbly.
It's a bubbly, and that's, you know, whatever. And I would just always want to be at my house. I wanted to be alone. Anybody coming into my house felt like the like sandpaper on my skin. And I remember my therapist saying, you have built yourself a world that's not the world. Unless you always want to be inside of a tiny oyster shell, you're going to have to open yourself up a bit.
That's like some Hamlet shit.
I know. It's so annoying and upsetting. I hate when my therapist was right. She was a great therapist.
Yeah.
She saw me through the end of that. But so when I started dating and testing out waters, there was this internal war within me of, I don't want to relinquish any independency. I don't want to make a sacrifice.
Yep.
I don't want to talk about compromise. I don't want to do any of that, because I just spent 6 years of my life with my career always on the line of, well, you're going to have to give this up. It was always hanging over my neck, and I never was willing to do that. And my ambition, my career has always been the thing that gets in the way of relationships, even after divorce.
Yeah.
Of people thinking, you dedicate too much time to this. Where am I? Where do I fit in? And me being like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think similarly, like, divorce leaves such a vacuum. A significant relationship like that ending leaves such a vacuum. And I know, like, I saw just how much space I had given that person in that relationship, and feeling so alone. And like, I didn't know what my hobbies were. I didn't know who my good friends were. My relationships with even my siblings had suffered because I had like stopped talking to them about my relationship, because like we talked about, I was embarrassed and ashamed of it. And so as I rebuilt my life, you know, I built it filling it back up with all of those things. With hobbies, with relationships, with not romantic ones, not dating, but like, you know, friends and people and family and whatnot. And so, like, not necessarily career, but like that's been a thing for me, is like, in romantic relationships, in dating relationships, like, I'm not gonna deprioritize my friendships or my alone time or my sibling relationships. And so that's been like a similar tension.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I know what happens with if that ends.
Right. Because there is something, the most difficult dynamic that I've run into, and it's not in my current partnership, but in previous iterations, that I have seen the other side of a long-term relationship.
Yep.
I have seen, looking back and thinking, what you said is so true. Divorce is a vacuum where you look around and you're like, oh my God, I gave up so much of my time, my effort, my space, and half the time they didn't even ask for it.
Right.
And you're just doing it.
Yeah.
Because, damn. And I found myself doing that in my last previous, because I had, obviously my marriage was long-term, dated, sort of did casual things, multiple whatever. Then I got into another long-term relationship where it wasn't sad, but it was a lot of stuff. And when you've seen, the other side of I know what it's like when this all ends, and I don't want to rip up the garden that I bloomed for you.
Well, and it's like the hindsight is 2020. And now on the other side of divorce, you have that hindsight. And so it's really hard not to look at current relationships with that hindsight in mind.
Yeah.
Like, I consider myself an optimist and all those things, but like, I'm so much less of like a romantic. Because I'm like, I was a romantic in my marriage.
Yeah.
And like some of it was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Those memories and whatnot are still precious, but I don't know, like it's just that hindsight puts everything in such a weird way. And even the simplest action of like getting into bed with someone you're dating, like I remember the first time I slept over with someone, like, and got into bed, like my instinct was to do like my good night routine with my ex. And I was like, I don't know how to get into bed because I don't want to do that. But also that's like such like a reassuring and positive and sweet thing we did when things were good. But also like it's not cool to do that with a new casual relationship either. And also I can't tell them about it because it's our first time spending the night.
Exactly. You can't be like, so this is what's being brought up for me. Because oh my God, okay. I was the opposite of my marriage. I was not a lover girl. I was not romantic because it was just such a transactional relationship. And so the first time I got into bed next to somebody, all I was thinking was, what the fuck do you need from me? Men only take. I was like in such a horrible mood about it, and I was like, am I gonna have to fucking make you like what's I was just so expecting that. And so the lens of dating for a bit was under this terrible tainted thing of I was just expecting them to expect something of me, and already was mad at them. And again, you can't say that.
No.
You cannot be like, so, first night with my casual hookup, this is really bringing out a lot of hate for me. Or like, hey, I had this sweet thing with my ex. We can't do that, but
now I'm thinking about them.
But now it's like 80% in my mind, and now I feel like I'm being dishonest.
Right.
Because I'm hiding this thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's so difficult.
It's so difficult.
But we've been doing it for a while.
We have.
I feel like we've had some
3
wins.
years for me.
And mine is 4-ish.
Yeah.
4-ish, yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely had some wins.
We've had some major wins, I would say.
Yeah, because I mean, I've got a great girlfriend. We're figuring all that stuff out. And and it's just like one of the big things now that I have like a serious partner post-divorce. The question is like, what? And this is coming back to the high control religion, the purity culture of it all. But like, what does a serious relationship look like divorced from that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it's like you're committing to each other, but there's no one else involved. There's
leaving room for Jesus.
We're not leaving room for Jesus. We're not legally bound together.
Yeah.
What does a commitment look like where it is an active choice every day?
Yeah.
Definitely. Have you figured out anything about your attachment style? Has it changed?
Oh yeah. So in my marriage, I was definitely very anxiously attached, and they were avoidant. We were a classic pairing in that regard. But since my divorce, I'm very disorganized.
Okay.
And so I definitely can swing avoidant more often than I swing anxious.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I am like deeply scared of behaving like my ex did in that like avoidant pattern.
Right.
And so that's also been like a weird thing because like obviously not fair to cast my fantastic current girlfriend as either me or my partner in my past relationship, but like pattern seeking brain trying to understand relationships and emotions is like, this is the same. And it's like, no, we're actually very different people.
Yeah. And then when the brains make the conclusions, you think this is fact. Yeah. This is fact, and this is how I'm going to filter this. Oh, it's
and if
so
it happened,
hard.
This way in the past, then it will happen this way in the future.
Yeah.
The number of times I have a new therapist. I started seeing one this summer.
Congratulations.
Thank you. She's a sex therapist.
Ooh, couple on couple, baby.
Trying to figure that stuff out. But like the number of times I'm talking to her about like stuff going on, things I'm thinking about, things I'm dealing with, and I'm like, so here's this thing, and I'm like, it's not rooted in my current relationship. There is nothing in my current relationship that gives this truth or weight, but here's what I am feeling and believing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that comes from divorce.
Yes.
Or like serious committed relationship implosion.
Right. And yeah, I think it's once the serious thing implodes that you're like, oh my God. Oh wow, that sucks so bad. And I've had this weird arc with attachment things because the more I have healed and have gone to therapy and have had experiences and know my diagnoses and know how to interact with the world, the more I realized that I am kind of hypersensitive, where I thought that actually I wasn't at all.
Oh.
I was operating in my marriage like nothing bothered me. Nothing bothered me because if I let it bother me, I would be distraught.
Yeah.
I would be so...
You were disassociating.
I was disassociating. But I poured so much of myself into it, obviously. And to have the person that I had a child with say the things that they said to me changed something in my chemistry. Because that was also, I mean, not to trauma dump, that was the same thing with parents, right? Of like, you're my parents, but no one's ever been meaner to me in my life than you. And so I came away from those relationships and the divorce so fucking stubborn. I was so stubborn. I was like, no one can hurt me.
Yeah.
And no one can actually try. And what it resulted in was me being fearful avoidant, meaning because I was sensitive, I would get my feelings hurt, but I wouldn't feel the hurt. I would just shut down.
Yeah.
I would shut down. We're not going to talk about it. I'll end the relationship. I can so easily walk away.
Right.
I will always have the power to walk away because I have seen the most important people of my life push me down and not care.
Yeah.
Not give a shit, And in this current relationship that I'm in, I had to really work through that because oh God, because it was just really hard, and my brain will filter when I'm in those moments of I've gotten my feelings hurt, I'm shutting down. Now I'm filtering everything as a threat.
Yes.
Everything is absolutely not what it is.
Yeah.
And so finally, and then I immediately went to therapy after that. I got also a therapist.
Congratulations.
To talk about fearful avoidance and all this stuff. And at the end of it, I had to accept that when I'm in love or if I'm in a friendship, so between you and I, for example, take my partners out of this, my feelings will get way more easily hurt with you.
Oh yeah.
Than I don't fucking care about people at work.
Right.
At work, it slides right off.
Yeah.
You cannot hurt me. You can hurt me, not even meaning to.
I've got so much power.
You've got so much power.
I hate it.
Yeah. You could be like, and I'm like, oh, okay.
No, but that's the great horror of relationships, right? It's being in relationship is opening yourself up to hurt.
Yeah.
And the going through a divorce lets you experience how much it can hurt.
So bad.
And so then getting back into dating, there's this weird thing where I felt less scared in some regards because I was so scared of my marriage ending, right? I was anxiously attached. I was scared of our marriage ending even when things were good, right? I was terrified of them dying or, anything like that happening. I was so scared. And the worst happened and I was fine. I was great. So much beauty came out of it in terms of my growth and what it unlocked for me. And so, when I started to think about dating or thinking about my serious friendships and relationships, I'm not scared of my relationship ending. Yeah. Because I'm not been there, done that, Yeah. And obviously each relationship is different, and that doesn't mean I don't value and I'm not committed to doing work and staying in them. But it's no longer the boogeyman under the bed.
Sure.
That I can't even look at.
Sure. Yeah. I think mine is kind of similar in that because I know how much it can hurt, it is such an active choice to be with the person of, I love you so much that if this were to end, I fully know the pain I am going to go through.
Yeah.
I will enter into this anyways.
Yeah.
I know the boogeyman is there. This could end. I could be so distraught, especially as we're both seeking to have sincere connections and build something that's actively a choice and do scary things. And the more that happens, especially with my current partner, I'm in that mode of like, okay, I mean, this is really gonna hurt my little feelings if it I'm gonna be really upset. And I'm still in it anyways. Whereas another version of me, if I sensed, oh, I'm gonna love you too much for my own good,
classic self-sabotage,
I would self-sabotage it. And I think that's why, I mean, not to knock on my former relationship at all. I think I was able to stay in it for so long because I knew that if it ended, I wasn't going to be that hurt. And I was able to stay in it for that long because it wasn't bringing up a lot of things I needed to work through.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fine and nice and comfortable and a soft place to land after a bunch of whatever. Never once was I like, okay, what if this ends? This is going to do me in. And I want a love like, you know what I mean? Like I want to, it is a beautiful, brave thing to love.
Yeah.
And not necessarily be scared of it, but to love so much that you're like, oh, wow.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's so worth it. Hard.
Yeah.
Worth it. But we've had wins.
Yeah.
What's your biggest tip? Somebody has gotten divorced and they're like, hey, MILF, I want to get back.
Dude, are you going to do an advice column? This is the
Yes.
start of the anyhow, anyway advice column.
MILF's mayhem. No, I can't say masturbation. Well, I can, but it just isn't the right alliteration.
No.
Meanderings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't rush it.
Yeah.
I mean, I am so grateful for my period of singleness after my divorce, in my period of like living alone. When I see people, and this is like judgy, I'm judgy though, so we're going to embrace that. But when I see people get out of serious relationships and then they like immediately start dating or like start living with like a roommate or something, and if that's financial, like no shade, but like the opportunity to like be alone and rebuild in that way, and not lonely, like you should have your friends, you should have your family, I wish that for everyone, but to just have that sort of space to breathe and feel your emotions, no matter how miserable it was, is such a gift.
Yeah.
And, you know, I got on and off of the dating apps, went out with some friends, that sort of thing. And then like about a year post-divorce, like I went on like a couple real dates with a beautiful person. And, like we kissed a little bit and that was like nice. But then I like panicked and I was like, I'm not ready. And I was right, you know. And it was like 2 more months before I ended up going out with my current partner. But like just don't rush it, and like don't run away from being alone.
Yeah.
Because it's medicine. It's
is.
medicine.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that like being alone post-divorce is so fun. Like, no, I sat on my couch crying. I cried in my bed so long that my dog, my anxious dog, got out of the bed and went all the way downstairs because he was so annoyed I was crying so much. But it's medicine. It's good. It's good for, I do believe that it's good for the soul in a way that is, you know, doing a hard workout or taking a bitter pill.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I feel like living alone is a big thing. And I did it for almost 3 years. Lived alone, just me and my kiddo in a sweet apartment. And it was hard and new. And then reintroducing things into the space was hard and new. I would also say don't filter everything on the bad side of what if. Because at some point in your dating experience, you're going to meet someone that makes you want to give it a go. And you may, if you're like me, let fear make more of your decisions than anything else. And just that can become a really easy pattern to fall into, of giving into fear or giving into whatever. And that might not even, I struggled with any type of relationship, not just dating. It was any type of serious thing where, well, I'm going to pour myself into you, but you could walk away, you know? Yeah. You could text me and be like, we're not friends anymore. And I'd be like, well, you took my, okay.
Cheesecake.
What?
The cheesecake.
The cheesecake. Yeah.
Couldn't.
And so I think always embracing, there is always the bad side of what if, but there is the good, and you've experienced the bad, you can get through it. It doesn't make love and having relationships, platonic and romantic, less worth doing because something bad could happen. Yeah. It always could.
Yeah.
Always could.
Yeah.
And you've done it. You've been in the bad. You have been in the bad. So we just did a big lore drop.
I know. That was so much.
That was so fun, though.
So much history.
It's a lot
The wiki
of history.
is going to get so filled out.
God, the wiki's going to get so... They're going to do to that personal life drop-down menu. In an interview with the MILF. Both... But we're on the other side of it.
Yeah.
We've had years.
Yeah.
We're doing it. We've got this podcast episode. We have a writer's group.
We have a writer's group.
We have partners. We have a dog. I have a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Things are happening.
We both have houses.
We both have houses. We've always been cosmically aligned.
We have.
Even if our friendship has been in and out, the stars were not like, wait, they were like, wait, can you just wait for a second?
Yeah.
You're just going to have to wait.
It's going to happen within 6 to 12 months.
It did.
Big
It
life
did.
factors. Because wait, we found out our wedding anniversaries.
Oh,
We're the same.
Yeah.
That was a crazy one. That was the second most cosmically aligned thing.
That was truly a wild scenario, but that's been knowing you.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of ways. So I'm just going to do the lore drop right now with the cheesecake. So so MILF and I go to Croatia together. Okay? Casually, platonically. Everyone on the trip is like, what's going on?
We're like, what do you mean nothing?
We're finishing each other's sentences. It's just one of those I would say, I'll just speak for myself, it's one of those relationships that's hard to say, because I think a lot like Frodo and Sam, people want to attribute romantic things to it, but you're like, well, it's deep. For me, it's deeper than that, and there's like an intimacy to it, but I'm not going to marry them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would be totally fulfilled living with you, but also need to have a person.
Right.
You know.
Well, and it's, I mean, I think it's, for me, it's always been like a deep-seated conviction that like, Summer's cool. I'd like to be in her life in some way, but also like, I'm not going to panic about it.
Yeah.
Or get like weird about it. Mm-hmm. And we've just kind of been bouncing off of each other for the last
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
And just kind of like our concentric, I'm doing a gesture, which is not good to do on a podcast, but like our concentric orbits just keep like getting a little bit closer.
Yeah. Until
we went to Croatia.
We went to Croatia and things cosmically aligned.
Yeah.
Because we were in a cafe together. Now, one thing that's important for the listener to know is the MILF does not like sweets. No. You're not a sweets person. Mm-mm. So already we're in this cafe.
And we sat inside.
Which
we did not do any other time we went to any single cafe.
No, because we were in Croatia.
It's beautiful. Mediterranean.
We're with a group of people. Already it's weird because, yes, we're inside. And you get a random sweet.
Because we're inside, I see the dessert case.
Exactly. And I'm all of a sudden transported. It is a layered cheesecake. Mm-hmm. I get transported to a dream I had when I was a kid. And always at this dream, I thought that I had been in Paris. And when I was a kid, I really struggled making friends and keeping those connections. And I had a dream one time. And all that was in the dream was I knew I was by my best friend, like a person I was meant to weave my life together with. And there was a layered cheesecake. And we were in this little cafe and people around us in Paris. And I woke up from that dream and I was so distraught because I was like, that was my best friend. I just met my best friend. And now what am I supposed to do? And I remember I got a Valentine's Day card when I was 14 years old and it had that cheesecake on it. I still need to find it. It is somewhere in my house.
Yeah.
Because I kept it because I was like, one day I'm going to meet the person that this cheesecake is attributed to. Because I've never had another dream like that where I felt that there was an entity beside me. We get to this moment in Croatia. The
waiter puts the cake down.
The waiter puts the cake down. We're around a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And I go, oh my God. And I have like the most public moment of freak out because this is the moment in my dream that I dreamt as a kid. And I was like, you're the person.
I just remember being like, I dreamt this.
I was freaking out. I was kind of trying not to cry.
You did cry.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. And because
it was intense.
It was intense. Yeah. I was like, you're the person that it was meant to do. This is the thing. Yeah. And Anyway, that's what happened. And then, our anniversaries were on the same day. And our circles finally aligned, the stars aligned, and then my little dream self was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's been you all along. So I had the most public platonic confession
Yeah.
of, you were in my dreams.
You are my celestial best friend.
Yeah. So that's our lore.
That's the lore.
That's the tea. That's the lore. On divorce, dating,
And cheesecake.
and cheesecake. I mean, that's the holy trinity,
Yeah.
I would venture to say. Is there anything that you're reading right now that the listeners should know about?
I just read Chuck Tingle's Lucky Day.
Oh, I forgot to message you back about that. I've never read Chuck Tingle.
It is like Deadpool meets Jasper Ford.
Okay.
So recommend if you like either of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also reading a book called The Deepest Map about the work to map the sea floor.
Oh.
Those are the two genres I read, everyone. I read either like very fun, light fiction or very dry, detailed nonfiction, preferably written by a journalist.
But when you tell those facts to other people,
Yeah.
you make it so deeply entertaining.
Yeah. And The Deepest Map is great. Highly recommend. I mean, I haven't picked it up in weeks, but I do want to get back to it.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. Like the ocean's floor, all of it.
Yeah.
They're mapping all of it.
They're trying to. Because, like, you know, the quip is we know more about the surface of the moon than we do the surface of the ocean floor.
Yeah. One is bigger than the other, right?
That's part of the problem.
Okay.
The surface of the ocean floor is much bigger than the moon.
Okay, just checking.
But yeah, so it's fascinating, and there's like a billionaire who's like bankrolling it and all sorts of things.
Oh.
And there's like some stuff about like Chinese dictatorships and war criminals.
Oh.
And yeah,
Oh my
surprising
God. Okay.
amidst all the, you know, sonar work.
Truly.
Multi-beam sonar is how they map it.
Multi-beam sonar with a nerdy billionaire helming.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I feel like I'm just reading art copies of things. I'm reading things for our writers group, none of which I can share publicly. Top secret. And of course, I'm writing my romance novel about two Shakespeare professors vying for the same tenure track position. I'm going to get that tattooed on my bones because I've said it so goddamn much. And you're writing
memoir.
Yeah.
And if it ever gets published, you can hear so much more about my divorce.
It's great. It always makes me cry and laugh. And I do neither when I read books. So it's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Listeners, honestly, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Because the MILF dropped absolute seeds of wisdom for you.
Yeah.
If you're going through a divorce, we can't necessarily be there for you, but we're there for you in spirit.
And you can listen to the Nothing Much Happens podcast to help you fall asleep.
Exactly. And if you're a longtime listener, meaning when I started this 12 weeks ago, you know I stay listening to that. I love it. Okay? All right. Should we say bye at the same time? Okay. Stay cozy. Stay bookish. Bye.
Bye.